Hi everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Bookmas. So I've been wanting to do kind of a feature on my channel for quite a while now where I compare book to movie adaptations, but I haven't gotten around to introducing it yet, so maybe next year. For now, I'm just going to be talking about some recent book to movie adaptations that I've seen and really enjoyed, or ones that I'm looking forward to watching in the near future because some of these aren't out yet. So without further ado, let's get into the adaptations. First of all, we have The Dry, which is based on one of my all-time favourite thriller books. I love Jane Harper's writing so much. She's an incredible author, and what I particularly like about her books are the settings. So this one follows a detective from Melbourne. His name is Aaron Falk, and he has to head back to his hometown in kind of the outback because one of his childhood best friends dies, and the best friend also supposedly has killed his family, but Aaron Falk is like, I don't think so, it's not really his kind of thing. And then he gets kind of caught up in this small town drama kind of thing that he has also originated from. So a couple of mixed tropes there that I really enjoy. I watched the film finally a few weeks ago and it was very good. One thing that I have noticed is that Australian films in general have like a very specific vibe to them, and I don't know how to explain it, but they're very quiet and they don't really have a soundtrack or fancy music going on really to help you build suspense. It's the same with their TV shows as well. I don't really know what it is, but it's something that I've noticed over the years of watching, throughout the years of watching Australian films, and it's definitely something that I noticed in this film because as I was reading the actual book, I was making up, I guess, like a suspenseful soundtrack in my head that was kind of missing, I think, from this film. It didn't feel as suspenseful as I think the book did. It wasn't quite, there were action scenes and very shocking moments, but it felt very quiet and subdued compared to how I felt that the book felt, how I thought the book felt. It's definitely not a bad film. I very much enjoyed it as an adaptation, but I do think that the book is better. Next we have One of Us is Lying, which I haven't actually seen yet. I have read the book and I very much enjoyed it, although I think some of Karen Ann McManus's books are better. This is a YA thriller book and it's been on the New York Times bestseller list for like years at this point, and it's basically about a group of classmates. One of them dies and they're all kind of involved somehow. There's some drama surrounding them and they all have history with this person that died. I really liked the book. There were some issues with it, I think, but I do think the author improved upon those in her future works. Anyway, so I haven't seen this adaptation yet. I don't think it's going to be anything amazing. My hopes aren't particularly high, but I am looking forward to watching it at some point, probably in December actually, just because I have some time off work and then I can really get stuck into this show. Next we have one that I have seen, and that is Always and Forever Lara Jean. This is the third book in the, I don't know what the series is called, To All the Boys I've Loved Before maybe, and this is the third installment. It's the final film in the trilogy. I've read all of these books, and this book in the book series is actually my least favorite, and I have to say the film is probably my least favorite as well. I can't actually remember much about it, although I didn't actually hate it, and I love the cast of these films. They're all fantastic, and I'm just so pleased that this series in particular got made into a film trilogy. It's not something that I would have expected to be picked up, and I was quite surprised when Netflix first announced the first movie, but I'm really pleased that it did because it's such a cute series and it's really fun to watch around, well, in wintertime and around Valentine's Day. Next we have another one that I haven't seen yet, but I do want to watch at some point in the future, but I'm not too keen on it because it's been getting really bad reviews, and that is The Woman in the Window. So I read the book and I enjoyed the book. It's an adult thriller book about a woman who lives in a house and then she sees her neighbours do something dodgy, you know, your classic thriller tropes. And I know that this author is quite controversial. I'm not a fan of him, but I did enjoy reading the book at the time. I haven't seen the film though because apparently it's bad and I didn't really want to rush to see it, but I think it's uploaded to Netflix now, right? So I could watch it sometime soon. Then we have Dune, which I watched and I loved it. I loved it so much. I haven't stopped thinking about it in the past couple of weeks since I saw it. So I started reading the book, but I didn't get to finish it before I went to see the film, and I just took the chance, and I coincidentally reached the same point roughly in the book as I did at the end of the movie. So I was about halfway through the book and that's about where the movie ends, and then I finish off the book after watching the film. So I think that's actually a really good way of doing it. I spoke about this I think in my November wrap-up video, but I think that the movie really enhanced my reading experience. Before seeing the film I was actually kind of bored because I didn't really like Frank Herbert's writing style. He has a tendency to either waffle or go into details that you don't really know much about at this point in the series, and I didn't really care for the characters. His dialogue is bad, but having seen the film and having it all visualized for me and kind of not explained simply because the film is still quite in depth, but having like the visual element really helped me to enjoy the book more, and then I flew through the second half of the book in just a couple of days. So I would actually recommend doing it that way. If you wanted to start the book, see how you feel about it, and if you're struggling, watch the film and then go back to the book if you still feel like it. The film though is one of the best films that I've ever seen. I realise I've only seen it once, but visually it's absolutely incredible. It reminded me a lot of Mad Max because of the sandy world, desert world. Some of the scenes in particular, like the sandstorm, were almost identical to that in Mad Max, which is fine. It was different. There was no pirating there or anything. And I just came to really care for all of the characters. I thought it was very interesting, and it was also really fast paced for a 2.5-hour film. I know that some fans from reading Reddit are a little bit disappointed because some things got cut or changed, but I think that's kind of necessary because the book is huge and it goes into too much detail sometimes that you don't need to know immediately. I'm very much looking forward to the second film and seeing Zendaya have more of a role because she really wasn't in this one much, although she was in the first movie more than I thought she would be given fans' complaints, but it's fine. Honestly, this film was fantastic and I'm really pleased with it. This and The Eternals were two of the films I saw in November, and honestly both were fantastic. I haven't seen The Witches yet, but I would like to. I'm just waiting until I'm in the right mood for it, because when I first watched the film, the original film, when I was younger, it scarred me probably for life. So I'm not rushing to see this adaptation, but I think it's probably going to be really scary, and when I'm in the mood to see some young people be turned into mice and potentially killed by scary witches, then I might watch it. I realised that some of the themes in this are probably problematic, and I do want to read up more on that either after I've seen the film or before I go and watch it because of Roald Dahl's history, but it's still one that I want to watch eventually. A surprising one to me was The Devil All the Time. I had this on my Netflix list and I kind of watched it on a whim with my partner, and we both really enjoyed it. It was very good. It was really dark, obviously, so this is about, I don't really know how to explain it, it's like a small town drama horror thriller sort of thing where everyone's connected, and I've gone and bought the book after seeing the film because I think the book's going to add like the extra element to it, and I'm convinced I'm going to love the book. So yeah, this stars Tom Holland, who is fantastic of course, but it also stars Robert Pattinson, who plays a creepy priest or pastor, and he is absolutely horrendous. I'm never going to look at him the same again. I don't know how he's going to play Batman after playing this. Like, I am thoroughly creeped out, and I think that's enough Robert Pattinson for me. Speaking of Tom Holland, there's another film of his on the list, and that is Chaos Walking. I know this one has been in and out of development for absolute years now. I think the first book came out probably in like 2009 or something, and I really enjoyed the trilogy, and I'm a little bit sad that the sequels to this film probably aren't going to be greenlit because it actually turned out to be quite good, better than I was expecting given the directing and writing issues or whatever was going on there. I'm not sure. I know they had to go back, the cast had to go back for reshoots quite a bit. I don't really know why, but the way the film turned out, it was actually quite good, and my partner, who hasn't read the books, really enjoyed it, and it made him more interested in the books themselves, so that's good. That's kind of what you want from an adaptation, I think. Then there is The Hating Game, which I haven't seen yet, and I actually hated the book, so that's fun. But by the time you're watching this, I've probably seen the film, and I might do a comparison video on it to go with my rant review. I really didn't like this book and I hated the characters, and I'm really nervous to see how, I can't remember the actors' names, but I want to see how they portray such horrendous characters, and I want to see if the movie improves them because they're really horrible in the book. Another one that's coming out soon is Station 11. This one's coming out in December, so it's probably already out by the time you're watching this. Obviously I haven't seen it yet, but I am looking forward to it because this is a book that I gave 3 stars at the time, but then upon like sitting on it and thinking about it some more over the years, I've actually probably bumped it up to a 4 in my mind, and I did really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the dystopian concept and the apocalyptic stuff, which is something that I always like in books, so I do want to see this. I think it's a film, could be a mini-series, I'm not entirely sure. Firefly Lane, which I watched the first 2 episodes of. This was actually around the time that I started my Kristen Hannah project, where I read all of, well, her most popular books and decided which one I liked best. It wasn't Firefly Lane. Firefly Lane, the book, did destroy me. I wept so hard. I was going to try to watch the entire series, but it's got an actor who I really don't like in it, and I can't remember her name. I'll put her photo here, but I really cannot stand her. So I tried, but I couldn't get into it. I don't think I'd feel the same emotional connection to the film as I did the book. Then there's Shadow and Bone, which I've actually only seen the first 3 episodes of. I think I started watching it with my friends, and then we all got really busy, and I haven't actually finished it. This is very interesting. I have read the original trilogy. I've read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom as well, and I've read King of Scars, but I haven't read Brawl of Wolves, which is fine. I've heard that they've just cast Nikolai for season 2. I don't know who it is, but I'm very excited to see how he does on screen. I want him to have chemistry with Alina like he does in the books because they're my OTP. I don't like how this series seems to be pushing Alina and the Darkling, because in the books I didn't really get that vibe at all in the slightest, and yet the series fandom seems to be really into it, although they were in the books as well, so I'm not really sure. Anyway, all of that to say is I haven't finished this series yet, but I will at some point when me and my friends aren't so busy. There's Someone Inside Your House, another one that came out this year that I haven't seen yet, but I do want to. I'm surprised again that this Stephanie Perkins book is being adapted, because it seems like a really quiet release. I don't think many people really loved it, and it's not really got a massive fandom, so I'm surprised that they chose this one, but I'm not going to complain. Hopefully this is good. I don't know if this is again a movie or a mini-series. Behind Her Eyes, which is a book that I hated because of the ending, completely switched genres on me and I didn't like it, so I tried watching the show and I think I got 2 episodes in. It's one that I might continue with now that I know what the ending is. I might like it more than I liked the book, but I'm not entirely sure. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments below and tell me what you think of it, because it might be one that I do check out eventually when I have more time. Beartown has also been adapted, or is being adapted, but I haven't seen that yet. The One, again, I haven't finished the book yet, but I've heard the book is very good, and so far 50 pages in it is really intriguing, so I'm interested to see how they've adapted this. I don't know if it's already out or if it's still to come out. Nine Perfect Strangers is out now, and I'm looking forward to watching this one, even though I didn't really like the book. I think it's probably going to work better as a show, especially because I know what to expect this time. It's not like an outright thriller. It's more of a very, very quiet contemporary with terrible characters. The Wheel of Time is one that I've actually just started. So I've read the first book and then I didn't like it enough to continue with the series, but I'm looking forward to watching the series because I think it's going to work better on screen for me, because it's not going to be like pages and pages of walking and singing or eating, any of that stuff. So I'm not going to carry on with the book series, but I'm going to carry on with the show. I've seen 2 or 3 episodes of the show so far and I'm very much enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to finishing off the first season and then seeing what other fans think of it, because I can't really remember the book that much because I didn't enjoy it, so I've kind of like erased it from my memory. I'm looking forward to seeing what fans think of it and how it compares to what they expected. Lock and Key season 2 is out now, and I started again watching this. Keep starting things and not finishing them. It's like book series as well, but this series has such a different vibe to the graphic novel series that I'm just not sure. I wasn't completely sold on season 1, but it was enjoyable, and then season 2 has just gone in a completely different direction to the books. I'll probably finish it just to complete it. I don't know if there's going to be a season 3, but I really wish they had better people playing Dodge, because he's one of my all-time favorite villains, as I keep telling you. It would have been difficult to cast someone like perfectly, but I think they probably could have tried a bit harder. My last 2021 release is Normal People, which I still haven't seen. It took me 2 tries to read the book, but I did end up really enjoying it, so I'm looking forward to watching this. I think again it's a mini series. I'm not expecting amazing things from it, but I know that a lot of people did love it. And now Conversations with Friends is also being adapted into a show or a film. Yeah, again, I do want to watch this one eventually. And then I think the rest of these are all upcoming next year, if not right at the end of this year. So obviously I wouldn't have seen any of them yet, but these are ones that I'm excited to get to. So first of all, there is the Inheritance games. I don't know if this is definitely coming out next year or the year after, but I think it has been optioned for TV or a film. It's basically Knives Out, but for teenagers, and it's a series that I really, really enjoy. I've done book reviews for both of the books that are out so far, and the 3rd book is out next year, and I'm really looking forward to this show, whatever it turns out to be. I think it's going to be a really good mystery and it's going to be a lot of fun. All the Light We Cannot See is coming out. I've read the book, I didn't really enjoy it, but it might turn out better as a film, maybe. Kindred is also one that I'm looking forward to. I don't know if it's definitely coming out next year, but it's a book that I've had my eye on for the past couple of years now and I still haven't picked it up. The premise intrigues me. I really enjoy time travel, particularly people going back into the past, and this is about a main character who is black, and she goes back to like the 1700s or something, or early 1800s, where obviously black people were still enslaved by white people in America, and I think she has to kind of help out in the household where her ancestors were being enslaved. So like it's kind of also multi-generational maybe, but without following other generations exactly, if that makes sense. She's following her other generation basically. The School for Good and Evil has also been picked up, but I don't think I've actually finished the first book. I've had it on my currently reading shelf for the past like 6 years, and I didn't love it when I was reading it, but I might like it now because I'm reading a bit more middle grade now, and it wasn't really what I was expecting, but now that I know not to love it, maybe I will like it, and I'm going to give this TV show a go. Three Body Problem is a science fiction film, I think. I don't know if it's a film or a TV show. It's an adaptation that's coming out next year. The author has said some questionable things. I still want to read this book, especially because it's on Kindle Unlimited, so might as well give it a go. And then finally, we have coming up the Inheritance trilogy, and I haven't read this trilogy yet. I haven't read any of N.K. Jemisin's books apart from 5th season because I am the worst. I keep meaning to read or finish that series, but I haven't yet. I will eventually. But then I want to get to this one and read it before the film show comes out. I'm just really glad that more fantasy books are getting adapted into shows or movies because it's one of my favorite genres, and I hope that more sci-fi will as well. Speaking of sci-fi, actually, I need to finish The Expanse. I have only read the first book and seen the first couple of episodes of the show, so I need to get a move on with that. I know that the book series is finished now. I don't know where the show is at. I don't know if this is like the final season of the show or if we've got a couple more years of the show yet, but that is a book series that I want to marathon and then watch all of the show because I have a feeling I will really enjoy it. So those are a bunch of adaptations that I've either seen this year or ones I'm looking forward to for next year. Let me know if you can relate in the comments below. Let me know if you've seen any of these and you loved them or hated them. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to check out my Bookmas playlist down below because I'm uploading every day up until Christmas. Thank you again, and I'll speak to you all in the next video. Bye!